Hello all you Half Pints out there, and welcome. My name is Kim and you're my channel. Today you join me for another Town of Salem video. This one's going to be talking about why and how vampires are so underpowered. And I think it's a good question. If you were much like me before the release of Vampire, and Vampire Hunter, of course, you were pretty excited. It sounded like a really cool role idea, and couldn't wait to kind of see how a third faction would kind of play into the games. But as you can see, when you're playing with your friends and stuff in custom games, you don't really see Vampire that often. I hardly even put into my custom games anymore. And I was wondering the other day, why is it? Why is it so bad? You know, we allow Werewolf to be in there, and Werewolf was underpowered for a long time. Why not Vampire? And I think that the answer to that is actually pretty, maybe not obvious, but it's easily walked through. When we thought Vampire, we were thinking the disruptive kind of class, the new group that kind of came in there and made everything go in a different way than you thought it would. But in actuality, it's not that way. Vampires are first of all limited almost entirely to just taking out town members, and so they bite. They turn the town members into a vampire, and you could say that that's a good thing. You now have another teammate. Yeah, you do, but unfortunately, you get a teammate that doesn't really protect you much against the other enemy teams. Because when you're fighting as vampire, you're really not focusing on fighting against town. You're really focusing about fighting against mafia and fighting against the neutral killing roles. So you do want to taking out town is good. If you take out the jailer, you get him on your side. It may be easy for other people to prove that the jailer's dead or has been turned. But the good news is that's one less person that can jail a vampire and kill a vampire. So I understand that, and that's great. But I think that we all kind of had this expectation that they would just go around biting people every night. Maybe every other night would be okay. But when they bit a werewolf, the werewolf would turn into a vampire. We thought when they bit a mafia, they turned into a vampire. Now I know that with mafia, the problem is they would know who the other mafia members are. And so I do understand that, and I think maybe that could be worked around. I kind of suggest that if a vampire bites mafia, the mafia member dies, or something like that. It could be, any kind of different way of playing it other than they're just simply immune, and you've wasted the night biting somebody who can't be bitten. It's even weaker. It's made even weaker than serial killer in that way. And vampires, until they get to their 3 or 4 max amounts of people, they're really underpowered. Only once vampires get kind of a handle in the game can they actually have a shot of winning. And I bet if you look at the statistics, they probably win more than Werewolf does. They probably win more than, Arsonist does. But they definitely don't win. At least I can't see them winning more than Town and Mafia. And they're hardly even played in those games anymore. They're not as much fun as we thought they'd be. And I think a large reason why they're not as much fun is because we had this wickedly awesome idea of this group of vampires running around the town just ravaging everybody, just eating whoever they can get to. So I understand balance is important, but it does kind of concern me that they've been made to be so weak against so many different kind of players. So in a typical kind of game, you might have 3 mafia, and you might have 1 neutral killing that is going to be immune to the vampire bite. Sometimes you may have even more things that are immune to the vampire bite. You may have a 4th mafia or another neutral killing. Can executioners be changed over? I don't know, actually. It's a good question. Someone can leave that below. But they may also be one of the things that cannot be changed over. In addition, they're killed by bodyguards. Vampires are killed by bodyguards, which is strange to me because I guess it makes sense. Bodyguard would attack a vampire trying to bite your neck. But it's another thing that kind of adds to people going, oh man, I'm vampire. I got to worry about getting killed by a bodyguard. I have to worry about getting killed by a veteran. I have to worry about getting killed by a vampire hunter. I have to worry about biting a mafia and not getting a kill and not getting a turn from it. I have to worry about biting the neutral killing and not getting a turn from it. So the problem is that there's so many things that you have to worry about as a vampire. It kind of takes away from the fun of actually playing the game. In addition, if you get bit early, if you're not the person doing the biting, but you get bit early on in the game, you end up kind of like, if you had a good roll, you're kind of upset about that. You lost out on your jailer or your investigator or something like that. It takes a little bit of guts to then say, all right, fine, I'm a vampire. I'll win it for the vampires now. But because vampire has so many different risks, so many different hesitations to making a bite, it kind of takes away from the fun of being in that class. So I kind of think the vampires need to be reworked a little bit. Maybe you do too. There's a couple suggestions I could probably think of, but I want to build on them a little bit more. Play vampires a couple more times. I've won as them. I've lost against them. I've killed them as vampire hunter, and I've been killed night 1 by a vampire hunter with it. There's no way of telling as vampire how it's going to go, but there is one thing for certain, and that is that it's not what we thought it was. I don't enjoy it as much as I hoped I would, and we're left kind of thinking to ourselves, was this a role worth really getting excited for? So I'd love to hear your opinions below. Let me know if you guys have some suggestions about how vampires could be fixed. If you have your own opinions, if you think they're good, if you think they're bad, leave them down below and we'll talk about them some more. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that great some fun stuff. You know I really do appreciate it. And most importantly, peace out.